You probably feel like you're doing a lot of work to try and grow your business, but nothing seems to be working. It's probably because you don't have a clear marketing system and strategy in place to help you with that. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can fix your marketing in 30 days. And this is a very common thing that a lot of people tend to fall into. They work on so many different things, but because they don't have clear things they're focusing on, they feel like everything's all over the place. So that's why within 30 days, if you focus on the right things that I'm going to take you through in this video, you'll be able to see a huge difference in your marketing and in how many customers you're actually getting to your business. Now, this is probably what you have right now. You've got a broken marketing system, nothing seems to be linking, everything is all over the place, everything looks messy, you're trying to get a system here, a system there, you're trying to use this tool and that tool, and you're not sure what you're tracking. And that's a very common thing. So what also happens is you don't know what you're targeting. You're just shooting from the hip and hoping that something sticks. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall, as they say, and hoping that something sticks on that. And when you don't have a clear strategy and system in place, this is what happens. You're not sure what you're aiming for. Essentially, if we're going to use this analogy of a bow and arrow, you're not sure where you're aiming. You don't have a goal in mind. That's why step one in having a clear marketing system is to set a clear target. This is very important. If you set a clear target, you'll know exactly what you need to aim for. You need to be specific, not vague. When you're vague with your targets, which I'll give you some examples in a second, that is when you still fall into that same problem. So when you're vague, which is these examples here, examples would be something like, I want more clients, or I want to improve ads, or I need to grow my social media following. These are very broad. It's not really telling you anything. Of course you want to get more clients. Of course you want to improve your ads. And of course you want to grow your social media following. Every business or personal brand wants to do that. You need to be more specific onto what it is exactly you want to focus on to get you those things. And here are some examples. More specific targets that you can start to aim for is things like, I want to generate 20 leads this month, or I want to improve my conversion rate on my ads. You see how this is a bit more specific now. And then the third option would be, I want to hit at least 10K followers by the end of the year. Could be 10K, could be 50K, 100K, whatever it is that your target is. But when you put a number or a specific metric that you want to track, then all of a sudden you can start to build a strategy around that, and it starts to become more clear on the path that you need to take in order to improve your overall marketing and grow your business. So the second point that you need to focus on is, this is very important, is finding your leverage. This one I feel is very overlooked. Not a lot of people understand how to find their leverage. It's something that I'm also trying to improve on. And a lot of businesses that I speak to and clients that I work with also don't really think about or don't really give it too much thought. Essentially, what leverage is just you getting more bang for your buck. When you pull a lever, if you get more out of that, that is you utilizing leverage. As you can see in this image, when you're pulling a lever, if you're going to get more cash out of it or more results, it's because you're pulling something that is giving you more leverage. Whereas if someone doesn't have a lot of leverage, they'll pull the same amount as you do, but not get as much results or don't really see as much of an outcome. That means they have less leverage. So what also happens when you focus on leverage is it creates a domino effect. When you utilize your advantages and you double down on that, it will start to have a knock-on effect and start to essentially show overall improvements in many different areas in your business, because you've focused on those small few things that make the biggest difference. Like the 80-20 rule, 20% of things give you 80% of the results. Similar in terms of focusing on your leverage, it will give you majority of your results if you focus on your unfair advantages or things that work in your favor. So this is very important to focus on, and this is an area that every business or personal brand needs to start to think about with what their leverage is. So as the examples I was giving, one big change can create a lot of different results in a positive way. Now let me show you some examples of what leverage could look like. Having a large social media following is an area of having leverage. If you have a big audience, it means you've got a lot of people who are listening to you, who are watching your content, who are willing to potentially buy from you. that is you creating leverage. If you post the same thing, if you have 50K followers and you post the same thing as someone who's got 5K followers, because of the leverage you have with a higher social media following, you should have an increased chance of getting more customers and selling more of your product or service. That is your leverage. Now, another point of leverage is access to a large network. If you know a lot of people in very important areas or people who can help you with certain things you might need in the business, that is a point of leverage. Not everyone has access to people who can pull a lot of strings or can assist you in many different ways. That is a big point as well that we see tap into a lot. People network, people start to know each other, and then they can ask for favors, they can exchange details, and then they can work with each other, partnerships, collaborations. That's point of leverage. Another option, another example is lots of testimonials. Now, if you have clear proof that what you do works, you've gotten results for your customers, you've shown people that you can create a transformation and get them to their desired outcome. If you publicize that and you get them to give you honest reviews, having a lot of testimonials is leverage, because if someone is visiting your landing page and they see that you've got 50 to 100 different people talking about how good your service is, and then someone else visits an identical landing page with no testimonials, you've now created leverage for yourself and given yourself an advantage. So you both could be selling the same thing, but one's got testimonials on their site and the other one doesn't. More often than not, pretty much every single time, people will pick the landing page that has the testimonials. So that is leverage. Another one is a big email list. If you have an audience that you essentially own on an email list, that is a huge point as well that you can use to grow your marketing, to grow your business. A lot of people have that, but don't really tap into it or utilize it as much as they should. So the last example I'm going to give is access to capital. This is very simple. If you have a lot of money or you have access to someone who can put a lot of money in your business or invest in you, that is another key area that can help you create that leverage and help you get that one big change that can get you that domino effect of results and improvement. So I hope now you're understanding why it's very important to find what your leverage point is and create more leverage. Sometimes you just can get that by just putting in more work, getting really good at your skill, and then you can essentially become more productive in a shorter amount of time than someone else. That's a very easy example. So don't think you just have to have money or a large following. There's many different areas where you can focus on leverage. So that's point number 2. The third one, and this always surprises me at how many people don't actually focus on this, and that is tracking your metrics. I can't tell you how important these things are, because if you're not measuring what's working and what's not, how do you know what you need to improve? This one is so overlooked, and people think they're doing it, but they're nowhere near doing it the way they should. So there's very simply 3 areas that I can give you right now. There's many different other things that you can track, but 3 areas right now that you can start to look into tracking if you're not already is traffic to your site or social media page. So very simple, how many eyeballs are you getting to your content, whether it's your videos, whether it's written posts or whatever it might be, or how much eyeballs are you getting to your site, to your landing page? If you're if you're running ads to a landing page, how many people are actually visiting that? Just simply seeing how many people are coming in and out of your social media pages or websites or landing pages is already a big indication into how much attention are you attracting. The second example is your cost per customer. This is very specific, especially if you're running ads, paid ads. How much is it costing you to get one customer to actually purchase? If you're something like an e-commerce store, for example, $20 might be healthy if you're selling something for $100. That means it only costs you $20 to make 100. So you're in a very healthy profit margin. That's an example. If you're someone who sells a service for $2,000, if it costs you $400 to $500 to get a customer by the time they schedule a call with you and then you sell them and things like that, that is still very healthy as well. If someone told you, give me $500 and I'll pay you $2,000, that's healthy. But if you don't know that, how do you know what you need to improve? If you're spending $1,800 to sell something for $2,000, obviously that's not going to be worth it. But if you don't track this, you won't even know how much you're spending on your ads or even reinvesting into your content to acquire a customer. These things are very important, especially when it comes to how much profit you're making in a business. And then the third example, an area you need to start tracking is leads or customers per week. So just like I was mentioning the importance of tracking your cost per customer, it's also very important to see how many leads or customers are you getting through the door every week, every month. And this goes back to the goal setting that I was mentioning in point number 1. If you have a specific goal where you want to get 30 leads per month, if you're not tracking how many leads you're getting per week or every day or every month, how do you know if you're going to achieve that goal? So this is why it's very important to track, because going back to point 1, if you set clear goals, if you find your leverage points in point 2, and then you track, you've set yourself in a way where you're doing the best possible things to try and increase and improve your business and marketing approach. So as I mentioned, there's 3 points. Setting clear, specific goals. Very basic, but be specific. Don't be vague, don't be broad. Point number 2 is focus on your leverage point. What is giving you the unfair advantage? Is it you're just better than your competitors and you can do things in a quicker amount of time? Is it the money you have? Is it the social media following that you have? Is it the network? Think about that and really tap into that. Point number 3 is to track your progress. Focus on monitoring clear metrics that are going to help you move the needle, like how many leads you're getting per week, how many customers you're getting, how much it's costing you to get that lead or that customer. All these little things are very important to track. So make sure you start to set out a clear tracking dashboard. It could be just a very simple spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but have it somewhere where you can regularly update it. So if you focus on all of those 3 areas, within 30 days, you should start to see a lot of improvement and clarity in your marketing and your business growth. So follow those 3 areas. It's really not that complicated. You just need to take it step by step, be clear on your goals, and just start to make improvements on the things that you're monitoring so you know what's working, what's not, and then you do more of what's working. Also, another really easy one is to just ask your audience. If you have a social media following, ask them what it is they want to see. That way it will give you more of an understanding into what goals you should be setting for yourself as a business. If they start giving you very common reoccurring answers, you know, okay, cool, one of my targets should be to cater towards what my audience wants. These little things are pretty simple to do, but yet not many businesses do them. So just start thinking about what your audience wants, then set targets from there, then focus on what you're really good at as your advantage and start to track it. Very simple. Start to implement this in your business right now so you can see your improvements and stop having a messy marketing system. Create a nice, clear strategy for yourself and you will start to see some growth in your business. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.